There is a beautiful word in the Yiddish language, Parev. Parev means neutral. It's a food that isn't meat, it's a food that isn't milk. It's like vegetables. You can eat it with meat, you can eat it with milk. But it's a bit unclear, where does this word Parev come from? What is the etymology of the word? And some people suggest that it's related to a chamber that used to be in the temple called the Beit HaParva. And the Beit HaParva was a place that the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, went to on Yom Kippur. He immersed in the mikveh, he purified himself 5 times during the day. Why was that chamber in the temple called the Beit HaParva? And they tell us that there was a certain sorcerer, if you like, non-Jewish sorcerer, who tried to tunnel into the temple, to get into the temple, into the parts of the temple that were out of bounds, and he actually came through it, this part of the temple, he came tunneling up from underground. His name was Parva, so they named it after him, Beit Parva. But this Beit Parva was in an interesting position. Part of it was in the holy part of the temple, and part of it was in, if you like, the less holy part of the temple. It was neither here nor there. It was on the edge. Hence the word Parev, which is neither here nor there. It's not milk and it's not meat. And this idea of Parev, of neutrality, of not committing to one thing or the other, is a concept that appears very strongly on Yom Kippur, and particularly at the end of Yom Kippur. The end of Yom Kippur, we have the final service, the climactical service of Ne'ilah. The gates are closing in heaven, the sun is beginning to go down, and we pray to God for a good and wonderful year, and that we should be inscribed in the book of life. And as we come to the end of Ne'ilah, we say those famous words several times, Hashem hu Elokim, Hashem hu Elokim. God is King. God, you are the God. When were these words said? These words were said in that famous competition between the prophet Elijah and the priests of the Baal. In the northern province of Israel, the Jewish people had fallen into idolatry. And in particular, they worshipped the idol Baal. And Eliyahu, being zealous for God's sake, came to the prophets of Baal and challenged them. And he said, we're going to see whose God is really God. We're both going to set up an altar. And we're going to put an animal on the altar. But no fire is allowed to go on the altar. You pray to your God, I'll pray to my God, and let's see who provides miraculous fire from heaven. And he turned to the Jewish people who were watching this contest, and he said to them, how much longer are you going to sit on the fence? If you're for God, be for God. If you're for the Baal, if you're for idolatry, be for idolatry. But you can't have it both ways. You can't be Parev. You can't be neutral. And of course a miracle happened. Fire came down from heaven and consumed the sacrifice of Elijah. Everybody fell down on their knees and said, Hashem hu Elokim. Now we know that God is truly God. We are committing ourselves. We are not remaining neutral. And this really is the great idea that we end Yom Kippur on. We can't be wishy-washy about things. We can't be Parev about things. We can't be neutral about things. We have to be committed to something. Something that we struggle with a great deal in this generation. We're not asked to commit ourselves, to volunteer to things. Here Eliyahu says, I'm giving you the option. It's either A or B. Don't sit on the fence. Make a commitment. That's how we go from Yom Kippur to the rest of the year. And in fact, one of the first things we should do after Yom Kippur is to start building the sukkah. We're immediately showing we're not Parev. We're doing something for Judaism. We're going to go ahead and we're going to commit ourselves. So I hope that this Yom Kippur will be a Yom Kippur of inspiration, and that you'll be able to see that you can take something on. Perhaps not to commit yourself to everything in the Torah, but at least to commit to something and to stick with it, and not to be Parev, not to be neutral. I wish you a Gemar Chatima Tovah. May you all be inscribed in the book of life and blessing.